Hey, welcome to Bikes, Boats, and Bivouacs. We're going to test the systems and see how they held up over the winter. Getting her ready for 2025. First thing we're going to work on is the hot water heater. So when we winterize, I close the hot water heater off. So we have to make sure those valves are reset so that water will circulate through the hot water heater. And that means we got to climb under the bottom bunk. So let's see how we do. I propped it open. There's a little panel. Turn my light on here. A little panel right there. I got to flip that up and look inside there and verify that this is done. Okay. Now here you can see those valves right now. Those valves right now are set to bypass, so it goes through that loop. So you want to switch those valves so it goes into the hot water heater and comes out of the hot water heater. Now you can see got those valves set the other way so the water will go through them. So that's all we had to do there. Okay, so the most difficult part is done. And it doesn't feel like I wrecked my back doing that, which is a good sign. So next up, we got to make sure that the drain plug on the hot water heater is sealed back up. So this is the cap that goes on. Now some of you might have a rod that goes in there to keep it from getting corroded. This one does not have that. This is just a cap. So we got to put that back in place and make sure it's good and tight. And you can see that little pipe there, right there. I'm going to use some silicone tape to wrap that, and that'll make sure we get a good seal. See down in there, you got that wrapped on there. And now we'll put on the nylon nut. And be careful not to strip these. So I'll go finger tight as far as I can. And just give it a little turn with this. You don't want to over tighten that. If you try to over tighten it, you'll strip it and then it's going to leak. You need to go buy another one of those little caps. So that should be good. We're now ready to fill it with water and see if everything works. And the reason I do the water before the gas, this electric heater is gas and electric, and I want to test both sides of it. So I need water in there to make sure we can fire up that hot water heater. Now on the freshwater system, we have two ways of doing this, right? We have the water tank when we don't have access to city water, and we use the tank with the 12-volt pump. And then we have on the other side of the camper the city water connection. We're going to test both of them, but I'm going to start with the tank. And the reason is I used compressed air this year to clear the water system, and I didn't use any pink antifreeze, so I don't have to sanitize the water system. But I still use this Tank Fresh. And this is an ounce for every 20 gallons. And that just kind of freshens up the tank. So I like to do that and run that through. And then once we make sure the water pump is working and there's no leaks, then we'll switch the hose over and we'll hook it to the city water side and just test everything, make sure that's all working, there's no leaks. So that's what we're gonna do first. We'll pour about 1.5 ounces in there. There we go. Doesn't take much. We'll stick the hose in, fill the tank. Now we just have to turn on the water. There she goes. It's always a good feeling getting the camper ready for the new season. And we'll monitor the tank on the inside to see, you know, when it's got between 1/2 and 3/4. So, fresh water. See, we're still at E. We'll wait till that bumps up a little bit. To plug it in for the winter. So I know my microwave works. I know the stereo works. It's behind me. But we will test the refrigerator, so we'll turn that on. That 5 means it's going to get as cold as it possibly can. So we'll let that cool up and make sure the refrigerator, which is a 12-volt refrigerator, is working. I can hear it running. So it's a good test. And then we'll start testing the gas also. We turn the gas line on outside. Just want to make sure it's running. There you see it. So we got gas, it's flowing. Let that cool down a little before I put the glass down on there. We'll test the heater. Got it on furnace. You can hear it kicking on. It runs the fan first and then it'll ignite. There it goes. We'll go check the exhaust. First we'll check our freshwater tank. We're still at E. It's a big tank, it's like 40 gallons. So it takes a little time to fill it. Here's the exhaust. And it's nice and warm. So we know that's working. We can't test the hot water heater till we know it's filled up. You can see we're at 1/3 full, so we got another 10 gallons to go. When you fill that tank, you want to check all your low point drains and make sure you have them closed, or as you're putting water in, it's going to hit the floor. Other low point drains are over here. And you can see they're all closed up and dry. We're ready to turn on that water pump. And you can see we got 2/3 in the tank, so we're ready. Water pump. So as it fills the hot water, you're going to see air coming out of the hot water line. Because this isn't a tankless water heater, I have a 6 gallon. So it's got to put 6 gallons of water in the hot water heater before we see water coming out of the hot water side. Once we do that, Then we can turn on the hot water heater and see if it works. So that'll take some time. So now we know the hot water heater is full. And here the pump shut off, which means we don't have any water line leaks. There's our cold water. Our cold water. Here's our hot water line. Toilet's functioning. All right, we still got outside sinks and showers to check on. Let's do that. Drain's a little slow out here, so I may have to clean this waste line out. You can see our water's working. So have you seen, we got water running through everything. The water pump is shut off. That's the best way to see if you have a leak. If that pump would come on every few seconds, that means you got a leak somewhere. We survived on just compressed air. The only place that I put any pink antifreeze was in the drains. So the drains and the toilet, that was it. None of the freshwater lines had any antifreeze in them. I just blew them out with compressed air and it worked. So thankfully, I'm glad for that. And it was cold this winter, so I'm glad that worked out. Okay, now that we know the water and the gas systems that we tested work, it's time to check the hot water heater. So the first thing we're going to do, turn on the LP gas and see how that works. So we'll go out there and see if it's running. You can hear it running. Feel the heat from the exhaust. So our gas system's working properly on all the appliances that take propane. So then we'll shut that off and we'll turn on the electric water heater and make sure that works. Then we're going to shut off the LP gas, turn on the electric. Then what I do is I go around and I look for any kind of drips, just in case. Sometimes, you know, in these fittings in the back of the toilet, you'll see an occasional drip. Especially if you had plugged into a real high pressure thing without a valve reducer. I don't hear any drips in there. Alright, so we're going to let that electric heat work a little bit, and then we'll check check to see if we have hot water. And now we're going to shut off the water pump and put on the city water. We'll switch that around to the other side. All right, we got that on there. Now let's go turn the water on. And then you have that constant pressure from the house too. You can also then check your water lines to see if there's any leaks. You also want to take a look at the hot water heater and make sure that cap is not leaking. I don't think we have any water leaking. We had a little bit out of the pressure valve here when I opened that, but I don't see any. That was easy peasy. So you can see it doesn't take that long to de-winterize your camper and get it ready for the season. And you know, when you get these warm days in between some chilly days, you get a little anxious, you want to start working on it. Now I checked the long range forecast. There are no more days where it dips below freezing. So that's why I'm, you know, willing to do this. So we're draining it all out and drop a little bit out of the tanks, and then it's ready for its first trip of the season, 2025. Let's get started. Hey, look, if this video helped you, consider subscribing to the channel. It's free, it helps me out a lot. Also, ring that bell, you'll be notified every time I put up a new video, and give the video a thumbs up. That helps it be seen by a wider audience. But more important than all that, go have some fun out there. Hey, thanks for watching.